Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, November 28th, and happy Thanksgiving to you and all of your families, your friends, anybody you shared Thanksgiving with. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Hopefully it was a phenomenal day. We had some great football. Green Bay took care of business. The Cowboys took care of business in their own building. The Bengals go on the road and take care of their business. All three underdogs won on the Thanksgiving slate of games. The Packers won, predicted beautifully. The Chiefs won. I knew it was Mahomes' time. They still lost. So we'll give ourselves like a half point there. And then the Ravens absolutely stunk. I've been saying it for weeks that I didn't think they'd be making the playoffs. They still have a lot of holes on that team. And why didn't I trust my gut? I was like, you know what? They're at home. They're going to have things click. They're going to turn it around. I was wrong. Hand up. I was wrong. That's what we do on the show. We take accountability. Welcome into the Swank Tank. I'm your host, Ryan Swankowski. And along with accountability, something else we don't do is we don't take breaks. Very rarely do we take breaks. This is the Friday after Thanksgiving. We got an episode for you. We don't take breaks like that. We had one earlier this week previewing Thanksgiving. Friday after Thanksgiving. Okay, of course, we take some breaks. Very, very small ones. Very rarely here and there. Welcome into the show. Appreciate you being here. What do we got going on today? We got the rest of Week 13 to break down. As I'm recording this on Friday, if you are indeed listening, we have the Bears and Eagles Black Friday game. I'll get into that. After that, I'm going in depth on every single game for the rest of Week 13. We'll wrap up the show with Swank's Banks. Really hope your holiday season's already been great. Hopefully this episode and this show makes that holiday season just a little bit better, especially this weekend, going into a Week 13 slate that is in need of some good spirits and some good vibes because, my God, this is a horrid slate of games for Week 13 on Sunday. Thanksgiving, we got very blessed with some great teams, some great matchups. If you haven't looked at Week 13 yet, which is maybe why you're here, it's rough. It's ugly. A lot of heavy favorites. We're going to get into all of that and more coming up here on the Swank Tank. If you are not already, please make sure you're following on all the socials at the Swank Tank on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Go and leave a follow and keep interacting with all the stuff. It's been great seeing people interact with comments, videos. Love them all. Even if it's some hate, love it all. We accept all comments over here at the Swank Tank. All comments, accountability. It's what we do here. And make sure you're going following all of those if you're not already. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that follow button on Spotify. Appreciate you being here as always. Time to dive into the rest of the Week 13 slate. Let's do it. It's going to be a little bit of a quicker episode today. Am going to the UT versus A&M game. If you know, you know. Got a big day ahead. It's going to be an incredible game. Phenomenal atmosphere in Austin, in DKR. Can't wait to go to that. So we're keeping this one relatively quick, but we're still giving you the big-time information, big-time stats, picks, predictions, analysis, and bets, as always. Our season record is 117-62. That's not accounting for Thanksgiving. I will total the entire Week 13 after it's over on Monday. This is also, let me just preface this. I did a little bit in the intro, but this is what I'm calling the avoid the smoke week. There's a lot of teams playing teams of inferior competition to them. These big-time favorites need to avoid the smoke. I mean, we got, Patriots, Giants, and we got Jaguars, Titans. That one might be a little interesting, actually. But, I mean, you got 49ers, Browns. There's a lot of disaster games on here. Like Rams, Panthers. Rams are a double-digit favorite on the road. Seahawks, Vikings. No J.J. McCarthy, which might help them. I mean, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, Commanders. I mean, these are some big-time teams trying to make a playoff push, going up against competition that may be tanking already. And a few of them definitely are. It's avoid the smoke week. Some big-time favorites going up against some really inferior competition in Week 13. For them, it's time to avoid the smoke, avoid the upset. Let's see if they can do that. It's avoid the smoke week. That being said, the 8-3 Bears traveling to take on the 8-3 Eagles today on Black Friday. Eagles are -7 here. Chicago injury-wise, let's dive into, they've had injuries kind of all season long, especially in the secondary. They get two guys back. They get Johnson back and they get Gordon back in their secondary. But Stevenson's still out for them, and Edwards at linebacker is out for them as well. So a little bit of a carousel going on in Chicago, traveling to take on Philly, who, as we all know, just put up a stinker against Dallas last week. Went up 21-0, crumbled, lost 24-21. We talked about Kevin Patullo in that offense last week being completely one-dimensional when they can't run the football because Kevin Patullo, in his history, has never been involved in a system like this or an operation like this where he has to make these calls. He's always been involved in the passing game throughout his entire career. Passing game coach, passing game coordinator. Now in his first year as OC, hasn't really had the skills, the skill sets, I should say, maybe even the offensive line, to establish that run. To me, that needs to be done in this game. Bears have won 4 straight. They just beat the Steelers. The Eagles are coming off that loss. Here's some defensive stats for you. Eagles are top 5 in pass touchdowns allowed. Okay, they do not allow you to get in the end zone through the air so far this year. But the Bears, they are bottom 5 in rushing yards allowed. What did we just talk about? How Kevin Patullo has not been able to establish a running identity all season. Maybe due to some systematic issues, maybe due to some historical and experience issues throughout his coaching career. It might be a mixture of both. Can Kevin Patullo get Barkley in the run game back on track? Not even back on track, just on track, because it hasn't been there all season. To me, in this spot, yes, more than they have over the past 12 weeks. This is a really great spot for Saquon Barkley in the Eagles to be able to run the football. I just mentioned Bears are bottom 5 in rushing yards allowed. What happened last week? Saquon Barkley had 22 yards. He's a top 3 back. He might be the best back in the NFL. Give him the rock. Let him do his thing. And I think this is a ground and pound type of game for Philly, an old school game for Philly. That's what I think they're going to do here. They recognize Chicago's weaknesses. You got Edwards out at linebacker, one of their best players. Give Saquon the ball here, minimum 20 times, and just see what you can do. That's what I think the Eagles need to do. That's what I think they should do. That's what I think they will do in this game. It's a perfect spot for it. Kevin Patullo getting that running offense going. That could even involve Hurts in more quarterback keeps, more design runs for him. That Bears front and stopping the run has been weak all year long. Philly needs to exploit that. I think they do here. On the flip side, Caleb, like I mentioned, the Eagles don't allow a lot of passing touchdowns through the air. They're top 5 in that category. Doesn't mean he still can't move the ball. I think he absolutely will be able to move the ball. I just think that running offense clicks too much here, where it hasn't all year long. It clicks here in this spot against the Bears. That might be too much for them to handle. That's my opinion for this game. I mean, the Eagles offense, they're averaging 15.6 points per game on offense the past 3 games. 15.6. The offense with A.J. Brown, with Devontae Smith, with Dallas Goedert, with Saquon Barkley, and with Jalen Hurts over their past 3 games is averaging 15.6 points per game. At some point, if the Eagles want to be legit contenders, go up against teams like the Rams down the stretch, maybe even Seattle, they have to be able to run the ball at least somewhat effectively. Last week was a disaster for them. They need a spark on the ground. It's got to come in this spot. And I think it does. I'm going to take the Eagles to get the win, put it in Barkley's hands. Let's see what happens. Moving in to the noon slate now. The 8-4 49ers traveling to take on the 3-8 Browns. 49ers, they opened as 6.5 here. I think that's gone down to 4.5. At least on my side it has. And I love it. I love it. Actually, in Swank Tank, I bought it down even more just to play it safe. But, I mean, it's Swank Tank. I can do what I want with those bets. Let's be real here. We can talk more about that later. But I love the 49ers in this spot. They only gave up 9 points last week to the Panthers. And you don't think Kyle Shanahan and that team understands where they are right now? They're sitting at 8-4. Pretty good. Given all their injuries, Pearsall, Kittle, Purdy, we all know their injuries. Defensively, Bosa, other major factors over there as well, right? Warner, of course, they've had major injuries. It's been a carousel. They're sitting at 8-4, but they're third in the NFC West right now, behind the Rams and Seattle. They know that. They know they have to keep their foot on the gas. It's crunch time for them. This is a spot they cannot lose and a spot they will not lose, in my opinion. They only gave up, like I mentioned, 9 points last week to the Carolina Panthers. Let's talk about the Browns here for a second. That run game for Cleveland continues to remain elite. Last week, they held Ashton Jeanty to 50 rushing yards, 5-0. And yes, the Raiders' offensive line is terrible. We predicted that Browns win very well. We knew Myles Garrett would be getting home a lot. He did. The Raiders are a disaster on all fronts. But that Browns defense, as it showed continuously throughout the season, but especially last week, that running game defensively is very, very strong. Holding Jeanty to those 50 yards. Along with that, here's the angle you can get me to say the Browns are going to pull off an upset. And I would say, okay, I hear that. Brock Purdy last week threw 3 picks in his first, I believe that was his first game back. First or second. He threw 3 interceptions. If the 49ers can establish the run, which very few teams have been able to do against Cleveland, they're going to have to throw the ball. Clearly, right? It doesn't take a genius to know that. But do you trust Brock Purdy with how he's playing right now, coming off these injuries, being a little bit rusty, to go and play a clean game? Clean enough to win this football game? In my mind, yes. And it's not from what I saw last week. No. I just think it's a great spot for the Niners to continue to settle in. I wanted them to settle in last week. They really didn't. It's a great spot for them to settle in now. In the air. Can Purdy pump the brakes, not try to do too much, keep it simple, keep it in front of him. Hit McCaffrey out of the backfield. Hit Kittle on 5, 10, 15 yards. I think he can. I'm not basing that off what I saw last week from him. I just think he can. So I like the 49ers in the spot. I like Shanahan here, especially in his mind against Shedeur Sanders making his second ever career start. That's like the main thing I love, is that Kyle Shanahan is somebody I trust in this spot tremendously. Shedeur Sanders obviously is somebody I do not. I'm gonna back the 49ers here to get comfortable. Purdy, Shanahan against Shedeur Sanders. That mind of Shanahan, somebody I trust greatly. And something I trust greatly. I'm taking the Niners here pretty comfortably, in my opinion. Give me the Niners to get it done on the road. We move on. The 7-4 Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to take on the 1-10 Tennessee Titans. Jaguars coming off a close overtime win against the Cardinals. Titans, a tough L against Seattle. Jaguars are maybe continuously the most confusing team in the NFL. I ranked my most confusing teams maybe like 6 weeks ago. Jaguars were on that list. They remain on that list and very high on that list, if not number 1. It's a different team every freaking week with the Jags. 1 week, defensively, they're all over the place. Hines Allen's getting places. Trayvon Walker's getting places. Getting home to the quarterback, stopping the run, great. I mean, their defense looks elite. The next week, they give up 34 to the Arizona Cardinals. Offensively, 1 week they can run the ball. 1 week they can't. Trevor Lawrence plays well. Trevor Lawrence has 3 turnovers. They have yet to play, in my eyes, a complete game. Maybe that Kansas City win earlier in the year was their most complete game. Outside of that, I haven't seen it. And yet they're sitting at 7-4. So kudos to them. But they're so damn inconsistent. So when I first looked at this game, I thought, could this be a spot where they drop? The Titans, obviously, in-division rival, AFC South. Titans are fighting for absolutely nothing. They're wanting a higher draft pick. But the Titans always keep this game close. If not, they win it. I believe in their past 6 matchups, it's split 3-3. It's something really close to that. These games are always competitive between the Jags and the Titans. With that being said, I like the Titans to keep this game competitive and close. The Jaguars, as we just touched on, are very, very inconsistent and still lack a full identity. Is it Etienne? Is it Tuten? How do you split those reps? What's going on with Brian Thomas Jr.? There's no Travis Hunter, right? Strange just came back from injury. Defensively, we already talked about it. Up and down and up and down. They're looking for that consistency. They have been all year long. You could see this as a spot where they find that against the worst team in the NFL. But in division, on the road, Titans always keep this game close, fighting with nothing to lose. Jaguars, everything to lose. I'm going to take the Jags to win, but I like Tennessee to keep it really, really close and keep this game very competitive. The reason I'm taking the Jags, it's a great spot for them to run the football. When you don't make and force Trevor Lawrence to do too much, the Jaguars should win more than half their games, especially if you're playing a team like the 1-10 Tennessee Titans. It's a great spot here for Etienne and Tootin. I believe Titans have given up the most rushing touchdowns in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken. It's a great spot for Etienne and Tootin both to get a good amount of volume, good amount of carries. Just keep the game on the ground, Jags, and run out the clock. That's my advice to you. I do like Tennessee to stay competitive here, but I'll refrain from taking them to win. I'll take the Jags, give them that run game. Jaguars get the win on the road, but let's see. I think it's going to be really competitive. We'll see. Now we move into one of the best games of the weekend, one of the most important games of the weekend. The 6-5 Houston Texans traveling to take on the 8-3 Indianapolis Colts. What a game we have on our hands here, people. Lots of storylines, lots of news, lots on the table. Daniel Jones. Let's talk about him first. Factually, has a fractured fibula. He will play in this game. I think he'll play the rest of the year. He's just going to play through it. Guys, that's like essentially a broken leg, if I'm not mistaken. I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure that's what that means. He's playing. Apparently, quote, he looked good in practice. He's giving it a go. Okay. Right off the bat, you hear that injury, you see it in the news, you see it on Twitter, whatever. What do you think about? You think, oh, snap. Jonathan Taylor's about to get the ball 40 times in this game, right? If Jones can't use his mobility at all, he can't really move around the pocket very well, what do you think Shane Steichen's going to do? Just hit the Jonathan Taylor button. Beep, 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 beep. Here you go, Jonathan. Here's a catch out of the backfield. Here's a carry, here's another catch. The problem with that would maybe work against 80% of the teams in the NFL. The problem with that is that the Colts are not playing a team that allows that. The Texans have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Especially in the run, in allowing rush yards per game, they're elite. They do not allow you to run the ball on them whatsoever. So if that's going to be Shane Steichen's game plan, I got some news for him. I don't think it's going to work very well, even with the best back in the NFL in Jonathan Taylor right now. That's not to say he's not going to have some success. He will. I guarantee you he'll pop one for 25, 30 plus. I can almost guarantee that. But if your game plan is to give him the ball 40 plus times and try to win it, I don't know how effective that's going to be against Houston, who has, again, an elite defense all around, an elite pass rush, an elite run-stopping game. That's a big question mark for Indianapolis. It's a big injury for the Colts moving forward. Colts this year, though, are 6-0 at home. The Colts have not lost at home this year. But the Texans, over the past 2 years, have gone there, obviously twice, in division, and beaten them. They won last year in Indy. They won the year before in Indy. And that game was crazy 2 years ago to make the playoffs. Before that, the Texans really never went to Indy and had won. But they've won back-to-back in Indianapolis. But the Colts are 6-0 at home this year. One's got to give. Colts coming off that hard loss to Kansas City. Texans' massive win against Houston. They've got momentum. They absolutely have momentum. They've won 3 straight. Davis Mills did a damn good job. I believe 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. They beat the Jags, who are currently in the playoffs. They beat the Bills, who are currently in the playoffs. They beat Tennessee on the road with Davis Mills. They absolutely have momentum. And now they're coming off a long week from Thursday Night Football to now playing on Sunday, an extra few days of rest against a Colts team that just took the Chiefs to overtime, are now a little dinged up and are a little bit drained. If you can't tell my tone here or not picking up on what I'm about to get at, I'll just give it to you straight. I'm taking the Texans to win this football game. First upset of Week 13, obviously not on the Thanksgiving slate or the Black Friday slate, but Week 13 on Sunday. I could throw stats at you here all day long, but I'm going to take Houston. because I think they're going to have to feed Taylor more than they usually want to, which is a lot anyways. But the Texans defense has been strong. They've won back-to-back years there. They have the momentum. And here's the biggest thing. I need to see CJ Stroud go out there with a fire lit underneath him. You just missed the last 3 games with a concussion, and your team went 3-0. You love that because they're keeping you alive, competitive, and all you want to do is win. As a great teammate, all you want to do is win. But before you got injured, you weren't playing great. Now you got a guy in Davis Mills who has shown he can go in and win. Orchestrate the offense how you want. Not do too much, but not enough. Not turn the ball over, not taking sacks was the biggest thing for Davis Mills. He did that perfectly. And the result was a 3-0 stretch. CJ Stroud needs to come out there with a fire underneath and saying, this is my team. I need to play better. They put me in a great spot now to play better. The offensive line last week looked fantastic, giving up 0 sacks. It's time to step up my game, to step up and be the freaking leader of this organization. It's time. So I need to see CJ Stroud go out there and play with some freaking emotion, play with some swagger in a spot that is vital for their playoff chances. They basically got to win it. I need to see the rookie year CJ Stroud swagger come back out and do his thing. Given the past 3 weeks, given he's been on the bench, watching his team succeed. And again, he wants to see that, but the competitor in him wants to be out there playing, and he wants to be the goddamn leader of this team, and he is. But he struggled over the past several weeks in a few different ways. But the biggest thing is, it's been his attitude. And when he gets flustered in the pocket, he just looks around like somebody's out to get him, which, I mean, sometimes they are. But you look at Mills in the pocket over the past 3 weeks, cool, calm, collected, stays in there, delivers results. It's time for Stroud to step up. It's time for Stroud to be the leader. It's time for Stroud to play with some emotion. It's time for Stroud to take the reins back from this team and go and freaking get the win in Indy. I'm going to take him to do it. Give him the Texans on the road to get the big-time win. We move forward. This one's going to be pretty quick. The 2-9 Saints traveling to take on the 4-7 Dolphins. Doesn't this game feel like a Dolphins letdown spot, if you can even call it that? Given the recent success, I mean, air quotes around success. They're 4-7. But they've won, I believe, 2 straight now. Beat the Commanders in that really weird game where nobody wanted to win 2 weeks ago. Coming off the bye. It feels like a game they dropped. But I'm going to take Miami. I'm going to take Miami here. Dolphins run defense. I mean, man. This game is relatively meaningless. I'm going to take Miami. But this stat does not help my case. Dolphins run defense is 4th worst in yards per game allowed this year. But Kamara is doubtful to play in this game. He's not going to play. It's going to be the rookie Neal getting a majority of the touches. Maybe a good DFS spot for him. Maybe getting a lot of volume. But, I mean, Dolphins off the bye week. I'll take them here in their own building. Because I guess, there's a few birds out there saying they can win out and be in. Their schedule's pretty easy. That's not going to happen. That will not happen. That would be one of the craziest comebacks of a season-long stretch in NFL history. It's not going to happen because that damn defense is horrible, especially in the running game. So, to recap that quick little 2-minute blurb where I just kind of rambled on, Devin Neal should be getting a lot of volume. It's a good DFS spot for him due to the Dolphins having the 4th worst yards per game allowed in the run game. Yet, Miami coming off the bye in their own building, I'm going to take them. Give me Miami. We move forward. Another pretty uneventful game here for most people. The 4-7 Falcons traveling to take on the 2-9 Jets. Falcons are minus 2.5 in this game. Falcons are bottom 8 in rush yards per game allowed. You wouldn't really think that, given who they have on that defensive front, but it's true. Through 12 weeks, it's true. Bottom 8 in rush yards per game allowed. But Jets in their last 2 games since Williams has been traded have been also very vulnerable on the ground. But look what he's doing in Dallas. That Dallas run defense looks like a completely different unit altogether. I thought of Airplane right there. If you know Airplane, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Williams has been a major addition to Dallas and we knew what type of player he would be. We knew what type of player he is. But the effect he's had in Dallas has been much greater than I would have assumed through the past 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks ago, they make the trade. Okay, that run defense will be better. They've been very, very good, very solid. And the Jets are missing him very much so. So they've been much more vulnerable on the ground. Not necessarily in yards, but Henderson had success against them 2 weeks ago. Derrick Henry found the end zone. It might have been twice, but at least once last week. That being said here, they're playing Bijan Robinson. This could be a really great spot for Bijan Robinson, especially given the fact that it's Kirk Cousins at the helm for Atlanta, which has this year been a disaster to watch. I mean, we love Kirk. Kirk's a great man. He's had a great career. It's getting close to time for him to hang it up. Hang up those cleats, man. It's close. So, Bijan Robinson, great matchup, could be a great DFS play. Jets have been much more vulnerable on the ground the past 2 weeks than they were earlier in the season. On the flip side, Atlanta on the running games, been vulnerable all season long. Bottom 8 in rushing yards per game allowed in that run game. For that reason, I also like Breece Hall. I mean, we got Kirk Cousins and Tyrod Taylor at quarterbacks here. But we got Breece Hall and Bijan Robinson at running backs. I like them to have a nice little running back duel in this game. Especially with, on the Atlanta side, no Drake London here. He's doubtful. He's not going to play. So Atlanta's got no Drake London. They got Kirk Cousins at the helm. And they're playing a Jets defense that is now much more vulnerable on the ground. Bijan might be a DFS lock. Breece Hall for me also might be a DFS lock. But I'm going to take the Jets here at home to get the upset. Because London's out, because Kirk Cousins is going to have to throw the ball a little bit in this game, give me the upset. Why not? It's only, Falcons are only -2.5 on the road. Jets in their own building. I'll take Breece Hall to have a nice day, bounce back from that fumble last week, and I'll take the Jets to get it done in their own building. Why not? Let's keep things rolling here. The 3-8 Cardinals traveling to take on the 6-5 Bucks. I'll just say this off the rip. This has to be the Bucks. It has to be the Bucks. They have had 7 away games. By the way, the Bucks. Getting ahead of myself. The Bucks have had 7 away games of their 11 games played. They're 6-5. 7 of those games played have been on the road. They've been road warriors all year long. After this game against the Cardinals in their own building, they have the Saints, and then they have the Falcons. It is I'm not going to say it's free given their injuries, but they couldn't have asked for a better 3-game stretch. They really couldn't have, especially given how they've been performing over the past few weeks with their injuries especially. They've been blessed with a 3-game home stretch against the Cardinals, the Saints, and the Falcons. It's a great spot for the Bucs now to get healthy, great spot for them to pick it back up, especially referencing Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin. Baker in this game, I'm going to assume he's not going to play. He was limited in practice, sprained AC joint. I've seen that before in college watching Quinn Ewers play. I've seen that injury. I would guess he's not playing this week. That's a tough MF. That's a tough man. But I think they need to sit him this week because they have playoff aspirations. Don't rush him back too soon and do something stupid. Sit him this week, bring him back next week against the Saints or even the Falcons. You should still be able to beat these teams, hopefully, even without Baker, because you're in your own building. You need it. Cardinals, past 3 games, have given up 27, 41, and 44 points in their last 3. Teddy Bridgewater, can he do it? In this spot, I think he can. Cardinals have been very vulnerable to tight ends this season, especially recently. I like Cade Otton in this spot. He might be a DFS lock for me. You saw Strange last week had good volume. You saw Kittle the week before have really good volume, have great numbers. It's just been really, really a great matchup against the Cardinals, picking tight ends on the opposing team. So I like Otton in this spot. Bridgewater, keep it simple, man. You got Bucky Irving back. You got Cade Otton right there. I'm not saying Cade Otton's some bona fide top 10 tight end, but he's a good target. Keep it simple. Check down, check down, check down. Irving. Maybe a shot to Godwin here and there and win this game in case you need it. I'm going to take the Bucs to win. Cardinals' run defense has been very mid this year. The Bucs are going to have to feed the run a little bit, given the Bridgewater start. I like Irvin to get a lot of volume. Maybe not a lot of production, but a lot of volume. Give me Otton to play well. Bridgewater, just control the game. Don't give it to the Cardinals. Just control the game. Keep it clean. You should win. Feed Irving, feed Auden. Bucks are going to get the win here. They're going to have to find a way. So give me the Bucks to get the dub. We move forward. The 9-2 Rams traveling to take on the 6-6 Carolina Panthers. Off the rip, I'm just going to say Rams. There's going to be no J.C. Horn in this game. He got a concussion last week. Panthers also have a bottom 12 run defense. That means it's a Rams W. Kyron Williams should get a good amount of carries in this game. Maybe it's a Corum and Williams 1-2 punch. But no J.C. Horn is going to be a huge loss. He's having a really strong season for them. Played really well on Monday night against the Niners. Has been probably their best defensive player. Him being out here is a tough blow. I mean, Carolina in their own building is dogs by double digits. I believe the Rams are 10.5-point favorites on the road. You saw Bryce Young last week. It was rough. There's question marks circling all around that the NFL and within the maybe not. That's a speculation for the Panthers organization to be questioning Bryce Young's abilities. I've been questioning his abilities for multiple weeks now. Even with that Atlanta game 2 weeks ago, breaking the franchise record of pass yards in one game. It's just an ugly spot for Carolina because the Rams are so loaded at every position. They're the most complete team in the NFL. And right now it's not close. Defensively, they're top 5. They get to the quarterback. They have a okay secondary, but their pass rush is what really helps them. Pretty good linebackers that can fly around the field. Secondary's Offensively, Devontae Adams has been an absolute beast, especially in the red zone. Puka Nacua is a top 3 wide receiver. Kyron Williams is a top 10 running back. Matthew Stafford right now is the number 1 quarterback in the NFL. Does not turn the ball over. It's Rams. That Panthers run defense is pretty weak. They don't have J.C. Horn. Give me the Rams. I'm not looking at the spread. Just give me the Rams here to get it done and keep it going. Do I trust Bryce Young here? Absolutely not. I mean, also with the Rams, I'll throw a few more stats here and we'll keep going. They're leading the NFL in points per game allowed. They have won the 6 straight, and most points given up in the last 6 games was 26 to the 49ers. Do we trust Bryce Young in this spot? No. Do we trust Bryce Young in any spot? No. It's a brutal matchup for them. Given how balanced the Rams are, we're going to take the Rams and we're going to keep moving forward. The 4-7 Vikings traveling to take on the 8-3 Seahawks. Sweet God. Seattle's getting blessed here past few weeks with some cupcake games. Played Tennessee last week. Now they're in their own building against Minnesota, who's starting undrafted quarterback Max Brosmer. The New Hampshire and Minnesota Gopher legend Max Brosmer. Undrafted free agent Max Brosmer. I guess undrafted quarterback, I should say. He's going to get the start here. McCarthy's hurt yet again. 3rd time this year. 9. Oh, my God, I can't believe I called him McCarthy. P48. I believe it's a concussion out in this game. I mean, P48 just can't stay healthy. He's also apparently trash. Brosmer gets to start here over P48 given the injury. Seattle's defense looked a little shaky last week, going to be honest. They got a little bit exposed. I believe about 24 to Tennessee on the road. And it wasn't great from them, but you couldn't have asked for a better bounce back spot. It's not even a bounce back. They won the game. Defensively for Seattle, maybe they would have liked to look a little stronger. That running game offensively for them, maybe would have liked to look a little bit stronger. And, Seattle hasn't been phenomenal in their own building this year. But, Seattle's taking a dub here. Vikings here's the big stat. Vikings have given up the 5th most sacks in the NFL. Seattle is sacking the quarterback the 4th most in the NFL. They should get to Brosmer minimum 5 times. And by that I mean sacks. Give me at least 5 sacks here for the Seattle defense. And just to put that offense in hell. They have 36 sacks on the season. Seattle does. Vikings offensive line has been very, very poor this year. Not only in pass protection, but has not been able to really get that run game going consistently. Minnesota also doesn't give the ball off consistently. They don't run the ball a lot because they've been trailing in a lot of these games. They're going to trail here. And now you got Brosmer, the undrafted quarterback, going to have to fling the ball. I mean, Jefferson might get 30 targets. That doesn't equate to a win. I'm going to take Seattle defensively to bounce back in their own home to kind of establish more of a home winning culture in this game. Minnesota's going to be in hell in this game, offensively especially. I'm going to take Seattle, get the win, and we're going to keep moving forward. We have the 2-9 Raiders at the 7-4 Chargers. Chargers off a bye, and lucky for them, that bye week was at a great time because everybody forgot, seemingly, 2 weeks ago they got smoked by the Jaguars. Smothered by the Jags. It was almost a 30-point loss for them. People, because of that bye week, I think forgot about that a little bit. Covers that meltdown against the Jags. Chargers, in 3 of their 4 losses, Herbert has been their leading rusher. That's the stat here. In 3 of the 4 Chargers losses, Justin Herbert has led the team in rush yards. Just can't happen. Flat out. Cannot happen. Harbaugh knows better, and I understand they've had Najee Harris out for a season. Hampton's been out for several weeks now. I get it. But you have a back in Vidal who's got some pop, who can, against Minnesota about a month ago, played really, really well. That run game, he's had a few really strong games. But it's apparent that when they can't run the ball and they make Herbert have to lead their team in rushing, that's when they lose. Luckily, the Raiders' running defense is pretty mid. The Raiders' defense overall this season has just been pretty mid. They've given up a good amount of rushing touchdowns on the ground. It's a great spot for the Chargers to establish the run off a bye week, and after a week where they just got absolutely embarrassed against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's where I think the Chargers kind of shine here. Also, Raiders giving up the second most sacks in the NFL with 41. We've seen the Chargers at times be able to pressure the quarterback. It's been a struggle for them, honestly. But off the bye week, give guys like Mack an extra week just to rest up a little bit. I expect that Chargers front to feel fired up after not only the bye again, but the terrible, terrible performance from 2 weeks ago. So give me the Chargers defensive front to play really strong, really fired up. Give me Vidal here to be in a good spot, maybe find the end zone once, maybe twice. Give me the Chargers comfortably here to get this win. I think they just play an overall complete and sound game. Nothing crazy fantasy-wise, nothing crazy DFS-wise. Give me them off the bye to come prepared, to come fired up. Give me like a 27-13 score here. I like the Chargers to cover here. Hampton may be returning here, but again, if not, Vidal's in a good spot to get some good volume and find the end zone. Give me the Chargers here comfortably, and maybe like a 27-13 final score. We got 3 games left. Let's keep it going. The 7-4 Bills traveling to take on the 6-5 Steelers. Phenomenal game. Outside of that Texans game, this is probably the best game of the Sunday slate. Rodgers should play here. Was a full participant in practice. And man, both these teams need a win so bad. So bad. Bills coming off the tough loss in Houston. Steelers coming off the tough loss against the Bears. This game's in Pittsburgh, and the Bills are favored. The Steelers need it. They have to capitalize off of the Ravens' absolute blunder of a game on Thanksgiving. The Steelers now lead the AFC North again. They need to hold on to that. I'm asking you, can they? I'm asking you, will they? Do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's going to be probably Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf should also probably play in this game. With an ankle injury, he should be good still. Do you think the Steelers will win this football game? I was going back and forth on this one a lot. I'll be honest with you. But I'm going to take Buffalo. Both defenses are trash in one department and solid in the other. Steelers secondary, horrible. Bills run defense, horrible. Just awful. But I believe both in their respective categories are bottom 5. The Bills in their losses have scored 20, 14, 13, and 19. That's 16.5 points per game. They've lost 4 games. In those 4 losses, they're only scoring 16.5 points per game. We talked about it before the season started. They didn't reload enough, especially on offense. At the wide receiver position, you drafted a guy like Keon Coleman, who's supposed to come in last year and be that bona fide wide receiver 2. Maybe with hopes of wide receiver 1. He's been everything but that. And by that, I mean he's been a nuisance. He's been a character problem, a locker room issue. The Bills did not reload enough on both sides of the ball, but especially at the wide receiver room. They're only scoring 16.5 points per game in those 4 losses. To me, this game's truly a coin flip. It really is. But I'm going to take Buffalo on the road due to the Steelers being a little dinged up, even though they may play. Rodgers and Metcalf, a little dinged up. And Josh Allen versus that secondary is the matchup I trust more than the Steelers running the ball against that Bills defensive front. That doesn't mean they won't have success against that Bills defensive front. I'm just saying, which one do you trust more? The Bills and Josh Allen against that terrible Steelers secondary? Or do you trust the Steelers, the offensive front, and that running game against the Bills defensive lineman, defensive front, and that linebacking core? Both should have success, but I trust Josh Allen obviously way more. I'm going to take Buffalo on the road to get it done. Again, I don't love that. It's going to be a really good game. I also like the over here. We'll see. That's a tough one for me. But I'm going to take Buffalo to get it done on the road. 2 more games to get into. We move into Sunday Night Football. The 9-2 Broncos at the 3-8 Commanders. This feels like a major upset spot, does it not? With Mariota probably still going to get the nod in the start here. McLaurin is back and healthy. He should be in the starting lineup, should be on the field. Broncos coming off a bye week and a huge win versus Kansas City. So this is the ultimate letdown spot, right? Oh, Broncos, they're going to win their division. They're off a high. They're off a bye. They're off a huge win. Commanders, oh my God, playing for nothing to lose. It's Mariota. McLaurin's back, but, who cares? Nothing to lose, right? So I think a decent amount of people might be picking the Commanders in an upset spot. Not me. Here's the issue. The Commanders' defense has been dreadful. Not only to watch, but also on paper, statistically. And while their offense is actually averaging 5 yards per carry, did you know that? The Commanders are averaging 5 yards per carry this year. I believe that's the second best in the NFL. They also have the 6th most rushing yards in the NFL, which I did not know. Offensively, that Denver defense is too damn strong. Way too strong. We all know it. We all get guys like Benito, Hufanga, Surtain, I'm not sure if he's back yet in this game. Even though they got a guy like Jahdae Barron, who I dapped up last week at UT. It was dope. Jahdae's the man. That defense is too strong. And so it might be a little bit of a letdown spot in terms of production for the Broncos, but that doesn't mean an L for me. I'm going to take Denver to get it done, off the bye, rest it up, and I don't think it's going to be super, super close. I get why people would pick the Commanders in terms of an upset, right? Let down from Denver. I'm not going to fall for that trap. I'm going to take Denver. This is the avoid the smoke week. This is a huge spot where the Broncos have to avoid the smoke of an upset, right? Avoid it. Stay away from it. Steer away from it. I'm going to steer away from it. I'm going to take Denver to win the game. Give me the Broncos on Sunday Night Football to get it done. We move into the last game of the Sunday slate. Monday Night Football in the Week 13 slate, I should say. Monday Night Football, the 2-10 Giants at the 10-2 Pats. Can't believe the Giants are 2-10. Is that right? I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm just going to tell you off the rip, Pats. Avoid the smoke, people. Pats. Giants giving up 5.9 yards per carry. It's worse than the NFL. I'll restate that for you. The Giants are giving up 5.9 yards per carry. That's absurd. New England, over the past several weeks, has established more of a run game with Henderson. Now you bring back Stevenson. Fantasy managers, look away. DFS players, look away. But my God, that run game should be able to do whatever they want to him. In New England, in prime time, on Monday Night Football. That's the only stat I think I need to give you. Also, the Giants are also giving up the most rushing touchdowns in the NFL with 17. It's Henderson's time. Even if he only gets 9 carries, it's Henderson time. Yes, it is. I'm going to take the Patriots to get it done. I really feel no worry about this game whatsoever. Dart is probably back here playing. I actually really enjoy watching him play. Dart's a phenomenal player. But the Giants are dead in the water, fighting for a better pick. They have an interim head coach at the helm. Patriots running defense is probably the best in the NFL. Pats. All day long. All day long. That is my Week 13 predictions, analysis for those games. Quickly wrapping things up here. Swanks Banks. If you don't know what this is my 6 favorite bets of every NFL slate. Each week, I give you my 6 favorite. We moved to 37 and 35. We went 2 and 4 last week, not great. Our Swank Tank, my favorite bet of the 6, also lost. So we're 37 and 35. We're above 500. We're in the green. We're above 500. And our now Swanks Tanks record moves to 6 and 6. We're at 500 for Swanks Tanks. Here's my 6 for Sunday. Number 1, 49ers, minus 2.5. They were 4.5. I bought them down to 2.5. I'm just playing a little safe. Even though I like them at 4.5 still. Take the Niners to cover. In my opinion. Listen to me. Do what you want. Whatever. My bet is 49ers here. I like them to cover pretty confidently. Then you're asking, Swank, why'd you buy it down? Maybe I'm just a wuss in that sense. I like the Niners here. Maybe just take a money line then. But I like them in this spot. That's my tank. I bought them down to 2.5. My tank for the week, 49ers minus 2.5. After that, by the way, I've had a lot of people be telling me recently, what are your bets, Swank? Oh, you only take favorites. That's also very not true whatsoever. They tell me I only take money lines. I would never change my bets based off what somebody's telling me, ever. Never have done it, never will. So we're not doing it here. It just happens the bets I like line up to what they want to see this week. Oh, too many money lines a favorite. First off, not even true. Second off, second bet right here, Texans money line. They're a dog on the road. Third one is Jets money line. They're a dog in their own building. So Swank Tank is 49ers minus 2.5. I bought points. Second bet, Texans money line on the road to get the upset. Third bet, Jets money line in New York to get the win. Fourth bet, I got Bills Steelers over 45.5. Really thought this game would be more around 48, 48.5, 49, given their flaws on defense. I mean, it's Josh Allen. Rodgers should come back with some fire in him if he's indeed starting. I like the over here, 45.5. Fifth bet, I like Chargers minus 9.5. I'm pretty comfortable with that. I think they win by at least 10 in their own building off the bye with a solid running attack with a defense that should be able to get after Geno. I like Chargers minus 9.5. And to wrap it up, I like Titans plus 7.5. I bought a point here. I believe they're plus 6.5. I bought 1 point. I could definitely see them losing by 7. I like them to keep this game close. Titans plus 7.5 is my last bet. That's going to wrap up Swanks Banks, and that's going to wrap up this quick episode. Thank you very much for tuning in if you made it all the way through. A little bit of a faster episode. I got places to be today on this Black Friday. Hook 'em horns. But appreciate you very, very much and greatly if you made it all the way through. If you're not, go and follow on all the socials. Leave your comments on the YouTube videos. Hit those subscribe buttons, those follow buttons. Appreciate all your support. Good luck in fantasy this week. I gave you a few DFS locks sprinkled in there. Next week, I'll give you some more solidified ones like I did on Thanksgiving. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Enjoy your football. Enjoy some college football. Some great rivalry week games out there. Win your FanDuels. Win your matchups. Win your bets. Most of all, have your team win. And hopefully they avoid the smoke. Enjoy your Week 13. We will see you back here on Monday for Week 14 preview and a little bit more of a Week 13 recap. See you then. Thank you for tuning in for the Swank Tank. We'll see you soon.